stalking, you better beware. Missing no questions asked. Where the game starts is real fast. We follow you around in our ride cars. We're all gang stalkers and we know who you are. I'm a gang stalker, but I'm not the only one. I know another gang stalker who's a hired gun. We're the gang stalkers, baby, and you better beware. We're the gang stalkers, baby, and we're everywhere. I'm a gang stalker, but I'm not the only one. I know another gang stalker who's a hired gun. He followed my baby to the county line. Nobody missing, no questions asked. We're the gang stalkers, baby, and you better beware. You around in a rock
get a job, get married, and take care of their kids without abandoning them? Is that the controversial view about masculinity? Is the controversial view about masculinity that men should be responsible husbands and fathers? What's controversial? If that's controversial, it's just because society is insane, not because what I'm saying is controversial. The objectification of women. That's a new one. I hadn't heard that one before. In case you didn't notice, I wear a funny hat. The hat is called a kippah. That kippah suggests that I'm an Orthodox Jew. I'm trying to make this linkage for the CBC, a state-funded enterprise in Canada. And you know what the Orthodox Jews are not so big on is the objectification of women. We're not super big on that. I've been an outspoken anti-porn advocate since I was like 16 years old. I was an advocate, and still am, for virginity of both sexes until marriage. So I'm gonna need some evidence on the objectification of women front. By objectification, women to me that I think that there are actual standards of beauty, and that there are many people in popular culture who we have been told are supposed to be seen as beautiful who are not objectively beautiful. Obviously, that's true. Obviously, it's true. If you poll men on whether Lizzo is beautiful, and I say Lizzo is not, by any classical definition, a beautiful person, that does not mean that that is objectification of women. That just means that there is a standard called beauty, and it has meaning and content. And that's not a particular controversial view, unless, again, you're an insane person. But they say that I have increasingly harmful views about LGBT community. Now, I assume that what they mean by this is that I say, you know, as most societies have said for literally all human history, that the foundation of a successful society is man, woman, child. That heterosexual sex within marriage is the morally preferable form of sex in society. That all of human regeneration is rooted in it. That all of societal stability is founded upon it. And that when you get rid of the standard, that there is, in fact, a moral superiority to heterosexual sex within the confines of marriage. When you get rid of that, you end up destabilizing both reproduction and society itself. And this is basic natural law kind of stuff. Seems to be backed by a fair bit of evolutionary biology as well. This is not saying that the government should regulate the type of sex that people can have in the privacy of their own bedroom. It is to say that pretending that there is no level of moral superiority to your sex life is very, very silly when we apply moral superiority and inferiority scales to literally everything else you do, from the food that you eat to the clothes that you wear. So apparently that's very controversial as well. Now that's really bad. The goal of the CBC piece, of course, is to get my content banned on social media. And so what they have to do here is that they can't actually say what about my views is so terrible. So instead what they do is they say, well, you know, young people watch my stuff, and then they increasingly watch other people's stuff. And those other people's stuff is really bad. And then even worse stuff. Now again, they'll never use this argument about, for example, marijuana, and the fact that virtually everyone who does hard drugs originally started with marijuana. That argument was ruled out of bounds long ago, and we have to pretend now, by the way, that marijuana is not addictive. Marijuana is in fact addictive by all available data. We have to pretend all that stuff, but we're not allowed to make that argument.
You always start with beer and cigarettes first.
On drugs. We're also not allowed to make the argument with regard to a slippery slope on pornography.
Just to let you know.
People access porn.
Since you've never even seen marijuana being.
Are going to access more and more extreme versions of porn, up to and including violent porn.
He's right about the
porn. That has an effect on people's souls, and it makes them less sensitive toward women. You're not supposed to say that either. That's really bad. So again, slippery slope arguments only apply to the things that they want them to apply to, namely politics. According to the CBC, again, I can't get over the fact, if this were like a normal piece in a normal left-wing publication like Salon or something, okay, fine, this is normal. This is a state-funded news report. It is a news report. It is not even a commentary report from the CBC. And as you'll see, this has broader ramifications for where we go as a civilization. Because this piece is really the latest iteration of what Canada is doing, which is an attempt to crack down on free speech, particularly the free speech of people who believe in traditional ideas about marriage, for example. The videos Brown watched as an early teen were often misogynistic, he said, and it started to affect the way he thought and how he interacted with people at school. I remember repeating some sexist attitudes, things about the wage gap. Okay, so what have I said about the wage gap? Let's assume that he watched one of my videos. What did I say about the wage gap? I said the wage gap is a myth, that women do not earn less than men if they are equally qualified, if they've had equal amount of time in the workplace, if they're working